If direct negotiations between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin ever take place, Minsk seems like a logical venue for them. As a president and as a person, would you like these negotiations to happen in Belarus? Because of the experience of 2015.
Honestly, I'll tell you, I don't want either. I don't have these wishes and desires. Recently, the press secretary spoke about this. Naturally, this was discussed with me. If they want and agree, it's an ideal place for Ukraine and Russia. US President Donald Trump doesn't care where to fly, to Europe or Alaska. It doesn't matter, it's 8 or 9 hours of flight. He can fly to Minsk. If they want, let them come. But Zelensky has long said that Minsk is unacceptable for them. Not because we are bad, not because they think of us as harmful as they used to. No, not because of that. But because they gathered here before and, well, it turned out not very well for Ukraine. Although I don't know what was bad here for Ukraine in 2015. Volodymyr Zelensky has some kind of phobia regarding Minsk. So, I am dealing with all this, and then I think, what will we get from this? Will the welfare of our people improve? I am not sick with this urge to show myself or do it because it's important for the image. Yes, it's important. But, probably, we will survive and do without it. I really don't have these desires. I do not insist, saying come to Minsk and so on. If they decide to come, for peace talks in Belarus, we can organize it even tomorrow. They will see it, they will be participants. If they don't come to Minsk, they'll go somewhere else. I once said, whether the moon or Mars, anywhere, just to gather and make a decision. You understand, there's a war going on beyond the fence, and it's a terrible thing if this fire spreads here. It's a deadly serious matter. Therefore, we are interested in ending the war. And I advise you not to worry too much. If they come, we'll welcome them, treat them, feed them, and give them drinks. If they want to hear our opinion, we will say it. The first stage is to stop shooting. The second stage is a ceasefire. No movements, no reinforcement of troops, ammunition, as the Russians and Ukrainians also say. And a peace agreement. I told Trump, I see it this way, you can combine 2 stages together, sign a peace treaty, though he would jump to the third stage, all 3 stages, a peace treaty, it will be very complicated, but in the meantime, the war continues, the shooting has to stop. We talked about Ukraine, I expressed my vision to him, these 3 viewpoints. I said, I am confident that you will reach an agreement. Putin is ready for this, we've discussed it a lot with him, he's a quite sensible, normal, intelligent person, and you will come to an agreement. Well, let's hope, we will see, sometime now. And I was surprised and immediately said, that the conversation with Putin, Trump is not what we see him as, they show him on TV, he speaks, someone translates, well, clearly, the translation and such, no, he absolutely understands the problem, a completely reasonable person, it's palpable, I'm an experienced person, I can already feel that, no, this is a person who understands. If only he'd have more reliable people like that, his team probably isn't yet strong. I think it will be beneficial. Especially since he's committed to peace, and his latest statement that we are now far from nuclear war or World War III, this is not just a statement, you see, the West as a whole, are not moving in this direction, it's a great thing. So behind his words, you must see that it will already be hard for him to start a war somewhere. But I was surprised, the last time they wrote to me, the Americans, they wrote to me in some messenger, or whatever it's called for you, someone blurted out that if the Americans do not agree with the Ukrainians, then Belarus will side with Russia and invade Ukraine from the north and will attack Ukraine together with Russia. This is impossible. Why do we need this? We have never set such goals for ourselves. And we will fight only in one case if someone attacks us. Then we will fight by all possible and impossible means. So far, Ukraine doesn't intend to fight against us. Poland is undertaking some foolish actions. But I don't think the Polish people will allow this government, president, to attack Belarus. The Poles will never allow it. The same goes for the Baltic republics. God willing, they'll soon expel those of our fugitives from Lithuania. They even agreed to establish enclaves or some supportive points for the Belarusians there. Those poor folks were even startled. Well, they should study history. They worry that we will take Vilnius and such. They even threw in this idea of creating some kind of Belarusian enclaves. Complete fools. The Russians, of course, are now categorically against having foreign troops there. Today, Lavrov already subtly hinted whether Americans or Germans will be in Ukraine. So what? Did the Russians fight for this? The Russians don't need this, need to strengthen the army. I'm the Ukrainian one. Is this a security guarantee for Russia? No. Well, yeah, today they agreed that the army should not be in Germany. Remember? Army not to be, fleet not to be there, those things not to happen. What today? Can Germany have a good, powerful army? And now there's absolutely no barriers. They forgot about that agreement. So it might be the same in Ukraine. They'll agree that there should be no army there and no weapons or something else. Eventually, one way or another, the army will be established and armed. And what if the Americans supply them with patriots? Will the Russians go to war against America? Therefore, we have to be realists. Everything will come together eventually. Not the way we might want. Therefore, yes, we will insist with the Russians that this does not happen. That they should not be an aggressive country. That it should not be a foothold for future attacks on us. But the situation could develop that way. Zelensky stated that they don't want China to be a security guarantor. They don't want it. Why? Because China didn't prevent the war. My goodness. Should China have intervened in this war and not stopped it? You should have done everything yourself to ensure that there wasn't a war. And if China is not a security guarantor, if it won't guarantee, without China's security guarantees today, ensuring security in the world and in any part of the world is very difficult. Therefore, before wagging the tongue, Zelensky needs to think a little.